Shaping is the successive building of one response toward a goal which in the end is much more complex than the original response. So if we want the horse to do something that's quite complicated, we've got to deconstruct it and recognise what are all the steps where one leads consecutively onto the other, and that's easy for the horse to take that next step. Or he might even choose it himself if we are very careful. In equitation science, our peer-reviewed scale basically begins with a basic attempt and then obedience, which is where we convert our basic attempt of the correct behaviour into a reaction that occurs immediately from a light aid. Then rhythm, which means that he keeps doing it, and within that level we also can make it quicker, make it slower, make it longer, make it shorter. And then straightness, which is a subset of rhythm, because when horses are crooked, it generally means one diagonal pair will be thrusting more than the other, and that makes him crooked. And so we're at straightness level. Then above that we have contact. For sports like dressage and eventing, that means that we bring the horse from these basic levels in ways that he moves and the way he holds his body, from impulsion through engagement through to throughness and then collection. And so that occurs at that level. And at contact level we also refine the contact of the horse through the reins and his contact with our leg and our seat. And then finally proof, which means that whatever we've trained him to do, he can do anywhere and everywhere. And that might mean we have to go to various different environments to do that. If we do, we need to make sure that the environments that we take him to are very similar to the ones before, so that it's not a sudden meltdown where everything goes wrong, but it's easy for him to see that it's fairly similar, and therefore you can find what level of the shaping scale is he at now in this new environment and then train that on. Generally we will need about 5 different contexts. For example, if we're training the horse to go into water, as an event horse, to go into water jumps, we would see we'd need on average about 5 different water jumps, because the way the horse learns this to generalize is rather like if we superimpose those old-fashioned negatives from photographs on top of each other of 5 different water jumps, and then the only common denominator when we hold them all up to the light will be the water, and that's when he generalizes. So that's an easy way of understanding how horses generalize. If we are training him to load into the float, it's not good enough to train him into just one float. Usually you'll need more, and on average that'll be about 5. Now for most horses that will be 5, but it might also be 10 for some and 2 for others. So that's really just the mean number of different contexts we would need for different responses.